You're good.
Yep. All right. Good morning. Welcome to Chair Yoga. I'm Barbara Pane, and I'm happy that we are doing a Zoom Chair Yoga today. This is great for the winter when we might not be able to be in person. So, also, the other cool thing about doing it from home is that we might be able to experiment with some different kind of poses. We're going to use the chair in a little different way than we have in some of our other classes. So we're going to do a lot sitting in the chair, but we're also going to do some poses using the chair as support by standing. So we're going to mix it up a little bit today. So just a reminder, this is a mindful practice, which means that we are practicing bringing all of our compassionate, non-judgmental awareness to this very moment, what's happening in our body in this moment, making wise choice based on what we are aware of in our body, what we're taking care of, what our abilities are, our current limitations. So we're really looking for that wise effort. I'm going to give you suggestions, which you can choose to take or not take, and I'm going to give you options to modify so that this is really your practice. And the most important teacher is you and listening to yourself. Okay, so hopefully we all have a supportive chair on a non-slip surface. And we're going to start by just bringing our awareness from everything going on around us to what's going on inside. If you like, you could close your eyes during this portion of class, or really any portion of class, if that helps you to tune in and notice what's going on inside your body. So I'm going to take a sip of water. So with your eyes either open or closed, just bring your awareness to your body sitting here in the chair. You might be sitting all the way back in your chair. You might be sitting forward. Just for these few moments, I'd like you to just sit, knowing that you are sitting. And bring your awareness to your feet planted on the floor. And if your feet don't come to the floor and you would like support and you have pillows or blocks, you can put your feet up on blocks if that feels better in your body. Feeling your hands, maybe resting in your lap. Noticing your bottom on the chair. Noticing the sensation of your back against the back of your chair. Noticing your shoulders. Bringing awareness to your face. And now shifting your awareness to your breathing. In yoga, we traditionally breathe through the nose because that warms and filters the breath and tends to lengthen the breath, which is calming to the mind and the body. But if you're stuffy today and it's more comfortable to breathe through the mouth, then do that. But just notice the sensation as you breathe in and the sensation as you breathe out. And for the next few moments, notice where you feel the breath most saliently. So maybe it's at the tip of the nostrils, maybe you feel it more in your throat or your chest, or the movement in your rib cage or your belly, wherever you feel most connected to your breath. Just rest your awareness there for the next few moments. Feeling the breath as you breathe in and feeling the breath as you breathe out. And when your mind wanders, which it will, because that's what our mind does, then invite your awareness back to your breath. And this is what makes this a mindfulness practice. So we are choosing where our attention lies. And in yoga, it's with sensations in our body, including our breath. And sometimes we'll notice that our mind isn't in our body. Maybe it's in the past or in the future, making lists or rehashing conversations or planning dinner. And we notice that and sort of give ourselves a mental pat on the back. And then just notice where it's gone without any judgment about it. And then gently bring your awareness back to your practice, to your breath, to the sensations in your body. Practicing compassionate, non judgmental awareness. Take a moment now to just notice what is going on in your mind, thoughts, emotions. For the next few moments, let those be the subject of your mindfulness. You might notice how quickly or slowly your thoughts are moving. You might notice the content of your thoughts. Just observe with compassion, with curiosity and friendliness. You might notice an emotional state. Maybe you have a name for it, maybe not. And one thing that we do become aware of as we um, get more skilled at paying attention to our emotions and our thoughts and sensations in our body is that they are always changing. They're fluid. And when we can begin to relate to them as just a thought, just an emotion, watching how they move, we can help them just kind of move on through watching their normal patterns without um, getting stuck. So, through our yoga practice, we're creating space for the free flow of energy in our body, creating space for the free flow of thoughts and emotions. Coming back to the breath, knowing that however we're showing up this morning is perfectly okay. So we're going to move into now our first posture, which is our seated mountain pose. So if you are sitting all the way back in your chair, I invite you to maybe scoot away from the back of your chair, making sure that your bottom is still supported by the chair underneath you, your feet flat on the floor. Feel a nice long spine. So we're moving to just a wide awake seated posture, seated mountain. So our spine is long without tension, and our feet are firmly planted on the floor. Think about the spine being long even through the back of the neck. So you could imagine a string through the crown of your head, just gently drawing you upward while everything else relaxes down. And breathe. So we're going to continue to come back to this seated mountain pose, sort of as home base at times between some of our other movements and postures. And just letting the breath be free and easy. And then let's just let our arms relax down by our side. And we're just going to begin to slowly reach the arms out to the side, bringing them up overhead, noticing sensation, bringing the palms together, and letting them come right down to our center line, to what we call our heart center. Just take a breath or two here, feeling the dignity of our pose. The face is soft, the jaw is relaxed, maybe even a gentle smile on the face. And we're going to begin to move with the breath. So as we inhale, we'll let those arms come out and up, palms together. As we exhale, right back to heart center, centered and calm. So inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, centered and calm. So just continue to breathe, moving with your breath. And if it feels good for the neck, you might, as you inhale, take your gaze up towards the hands. And as you exhale, maybe follow down to your fingertips. So getting a little movement with the neck if that feels good, nice and gentle. Maybe slowing down the movement, slowing down the breath. And the next time you exhale, bring your hands back to heart center. Beautiful. Rest your hands on your lap. And we're going to just do a little forward fold, moving with the breath. So for forward fold, we're just going to hinge forward from the hips, and you might come down to your elbows, or you might slide your hands down your legs, and then slowly coming up. So let's just move that with the breath. We'll inhale to get tall, exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hinge forward. Maybe sliding your hands down, maybe not. Slowly coming up. We'll do one more like that. Exhale, slide forward. Now, from this forward fold position, just lift your heart, sort of slight arch in the back, maybe making sure not to overextend the neck. And then fold forward. And then slowly come up, bringing the arms all the way out and overhead, and bring your hands to heart center. So this is our seated half sun salutation. So we're going to inhale, bring both arms up. On an exhale, we'll go into that forward fold. So you could bring your hands to your lap and fold. You could slide your hands down, exhaling here. Inhale, just lift the heart, little arch, just coming halfway up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, you could either walk your hands up or reach the arms out and up overhead. Exhale to the heart. Beautiful. We're going to move through that 2 more times. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, forward fold, staying on your lap or coming all the way down. Inhale, just lift the heart, coming halfway up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, walk the hands up or rise up, arms out to the side and up, palms together. Exhale to the heart. And once more, inhale. Forward fold. Halfway up. Forward fold. All the way up. And back to the heart. Rest your hands in your lap. Breathe here. And just notice the effects of this moving, flowing sequence. You might feel a little bit warmer. You might feel your heart beating a little bit more. We're going to move now into a seated cat-cow. So just moving the spine forward and back. Let's inhale with a tall spine. Exhale, and we're just going to let the chin come down towards the chest. The shoulders can roll forward. You might feel your hips rolling under. Just to this rounded position. Let's stay here for a breath or two. And then the next time you inhale, we're going to sit up tall. And then again, just lifting that heart, let the shoulders come back. You could take your gaze maybe to the corner of the room. Again, you don't want to hyperextend the neck. So a little arch here. Take a breath or two here. And then we're going to flow one breath, one movement. Inhaling here, let's exhale and round. Draw the belly button in. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale and round. Inhale, lengthen and lift. If you'd like to add some arms here, you could reach the arms forward as you round. You might feel a little more stretch between the shoulder blades. As you lift, you could open the arms wide. You could come to goalpost arms. Exhale and round. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Maybe even hug the body as you round. Inhale, open. Exhale. Let's do a couple more on our own. Following your own breath. Choosing whatever arm movements feel good in your body. Let's do one more. And then coming back to our seated mountain pose. Let's roll the shoulders back and down. Tall spine. Feet firmly planted on the ground. And breathe. We're going to move to a side lengthening pose now. So let's just take the right arm either to the shoulder or up towards the ceiling. The left arm can stay on your lap, or you could hold on to the bottom of the chair. And we're just going to inhale, press our bottom into the chair as we lengthen through the fingertips. Exhale, release a little bit. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. This time we're going to lengthen as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to reach up and over. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, stay there, or maybe up and over a little bit more. Keep the chest long. So we're not rounding here, but keeping the shoulder open. And over the next few breaths, just see if you can get a little bit taller, creating a little more space in the rib cage. If it feels good, you might turn your gaze in the direction of your elbow. It might not go that far. Take a breath or two or three here. Maybe a little more opening in that right shoulder. And the next time you inhale, reach those fingertips up, grow tall in the spine. Exhale, lower it down and shake it out. Shake a shake. Okay, other side. Right hand on your lap, or you could hold on to your chair. Let's inhale, bring the left arm up. And exhale, just soften. Inhale, lengthen, creating space in the rib cage. Exhale, soften. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. This time we're going to stay up there. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reaching up and over a little bit. Soften that opposite shoulder down. With each inhale, grow a little bit taller. Exhale, soften a little bit more, keeping that left shoulder open. And just taking a few more breaths here. Gaze can be straight ahead. You can begin to turn the neck if that feels good. Just going to take one or two more breaths here. And the next time you inhale, let's lengthen and relax it down and shake it out. Wiggle around a little bit. Nice. We're going to do a little spinal twist now. So first we're going to bring both hands forward and we're going to do what's called a bow and arrow. So I'm going to keep my hips and my knees and toes forward. And it's like I'm drawing the bow to my heart and then reaching all the way back and then coming back forward. Okay, so I'm not twisting my hips, but I'm trying to just twist through the torso. So let's try that again. Inhale here. Exhale, draw to the heart and reach back. Maybe you reach behind, maybe you reach to the side, wherever you can access, and then coming back forward. And let's try that one more time, and this one will hold. Inhale here, exhale, reach. And let's pause for 3, 2, and 1. And coming back to center. Beautiful. Let's shake it out a little bit. Other side, both hands forward. Inhale here. Exhale, draw that bow to the heart, twisting just the torso and reaching back. Inhale, coming back forward. Exhale to the heart and back. Inhale forward. Exhale, heart and back. And let's breathe here. If this is too much for the arms and you want to rest the arms down, that's fine. Or you could rest them down and then come back. Breathing 2 more. 1 more. And coming back to center and relax the hands down. Notice how it feels to rest the arms after working them a little bit. So we're gonna stir the pot a little bit now. Think about that belly drawing gently in, kind of waking up those belly muscles. Feet are firmly planted on the floor, either at hip width or maybe a little bit wider. First, we're going to start with a nice long spine, and we're just going to circle around, little circles. So at first, we're thinking about creating space in the spine. Shoulders are relaxed down, jaws relaxed, nice and slow. And then you can begin to get a little more juicy with it. If you'd like to round the spine, a little more movement, you could make those circles wider. You could let the head move on the shoulders. See how this feels in your body. Some days it might feel better to keep that spine really tall. Some days it might feel better to get a little looser with it. So, listening to what your body is asking for in this moment and always being ready to make adjustments so that you're always staying in your pain-free range of motion. And then let's slow it down, coming back to a nice tall spine. Nice. And then we're going to change directions. So starting with a tall spine, stirring the pot, and then maybe making those circles wider, maybe slowing down. Notice what you're feeling in your core. Notice what you're feeling in your hips. And then slowly coming back to that nice tall spine, small rotations, coming back to center. Nice. If your feet are spread out, let's bring them back together with a little bit of marching. Feel the belly, gently draw in. See if you could be mindful not to lean back too much. You could hold on to your chair for support if that helps. And come back to our seated mountain pose. Nice long spine. Beautiful. We're going to make some circles with our nose now. So moving into a little more movement in the neck. So we're just going to imagine that we have a beautiful color. We have a paintbrush on the tip of our nose, dipping it into whatever color that we like. And we're just going to begin to paint small circles on a canvas in front of us. Let the shoulders relax down. You can make those circles get slower and wider. And if it feels better to not go all the way around and maybe make big smiley faces, that's okay too. What we're trying to not do is let our head tip way back because that can be tough on the neck. And maybe you experiment with going even slower so that you can really pay attention to how this feels and what movement suits you the best in this moment. And slowly coming back to center. And let's change directions. Starting with little tiny circles, really checking in with your neck. And then you can widen them. And I hear all kinds of crickety cracks in my neck. And hopefully through this movement, I'm lubricating those vertebrae and those joints. But if you get to a place that just is twingy or uncomfortable, you want to back off, go slower, or just not do that movement today. Slowly coming back to center. Nice. Back to our mountain, hands by our side. Let's inhale, bring the arms out and up. Exhale to the heart. From here, let's interlace the hands and just press forward, rounding the upper back. Little stretch for the fingers, the wrists, maybe the shoulders, maybe the space between the shoulders. Keep breathing. And then if you like, you can take those hands up overhead, feeling a little more opening in the armpits, maybe lifting the heart a bit. And then let's come back right in front and overhead and rounding in front and overhead. From here, release the hands and just float them down, shaking them out. So let's bring our hands out to a T, and we're going to turn the right hand palm towards the ceiling. And notice how that shoulder kind of opens up when we do that. Now let's turn the hand down and even back a little bit. And then palm to the ceiling and down. Nice. Bring that hand back to neutral and the other hand, palm to the ceiling and down and back. Palm to the ceiling and down and back. Okay, let's turn both palms to the ceiling. Relax your hands down, shake them out a little bit. So now that we have that movement, we are going to kind of coordinate. As one hand goes down, one hand is going to go back with the option of adding the next. So let's bring both arms out. Now, both palms are up right now. So I'm going to turn my right palm down as I look over the left palm. And then I'm going to turn my left palm down as my right turns up and look over the right palm. And switch. And switch and just keep breathing. And if you get tired, just bring your hands down, shake them out, come back when you're ready. So I'm always looking over my lifted palm. And I'm just going to do 2 more. Coming back to center, float those arms down, really shake them out. Pause here. You might feel considerable heat in your shoulders after that. And let's come down to our lower body now. So let's step the feet wide, and we're going to do a wide-legged forward fold. So my knees are as wide as is comfortable for me. I still am really supported on the chair. So when I tip over, I'm not going to fall out of my chair, supporting my hands on my knees or thighs. And with a long spine, I'm going to inhale here, and then on exhale, I'm just going to hinge forward. So for now, I'm keeping the spine long, the back of my neck is long, and I'm just moving into that hip hinge. And let's slowly come out. So let's do that a few times. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, hinge forward with a long back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Now, from this forward position, with my hands supported on my leg, I'd like to just add some shoulders here. So I'm bringing my left shoulder towards my right foot, and then my right shoulder towards my left foot. Just nice and slow. For me, this feels like a nice stretch through my thoracic spine, my upper spine. You might feel it somewhere else in your spine. And coming back to center. Now, one more forward fold. This is an option to hold this forward fold. You can do it wide leg. If you don't like wide leg, you could bring your legs together. If you would like, if you have another chair or a stool and you want to bring the ground to you a little bit more, you could do it with a stool in front of you. So I'm just going to inhale with a tall spine, hinge forward, and then I'm going to bring my hands to a stool or another chair or blocks or the floor, or just keep them on my lap and breathe. So you might feel a little bit more opening in the hips here. It's feeling uncomfortable, feeling like too much sensation, just come up a bit, or come out of the pose. You can let your head round here if you like. And we're just going to stay here for about 10 more seconds, knowing that you can come up at any time. So this is a little bit more of a hip opening forward fold as opposed to if the feet and knees were closer together. And when you're ready, slowly coming up. Walk the feet in. March it out a little bit. Okay, we're going to do a little bit with the hips and legs, and then we're going to stand up and do a couple standing poses. So let's bring our awareness to our feet, firmly planted on the floor. We're in our nice long spine, seated mountain. Let's lift the heels. Feel that nice stretch in the ankles and lower them down. And lift and lower. If you'd like to add arms, you can lift and lower. Maybe a little flex in the hands and lift and lower. Let's do about 8 more of these. And 7 and 8. Nice, relax your hands down. Let's walk the feet out. And now I'm just going to draw my toes towards my knees for a little flex in the feet and point. If you'd like, you could hold on to your chair here and flex and point, flex and point. You could add some hands here, flexing the hands on the feet and point, flex and point. You might see that I'm doing the heels one at a time because it's a little bit hard to do them both together. 3 more, 2 more, and 1 more. Nice, let's walk it in. So we're going to do a little hip opening now. So crossing one ankle over the other calf, or maybe you bring it up here, or you could bring it all the way up onto your thigh if that's available to you. And let's just slowly bring the knee up and down, getting a little circulation in that hip. And let the knee just rest out to the side. You can support that leg if you want. You could hold on to your ankle. And we're just going to sit up tall, 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 just until you feel some sensation in that hip. The more you lengthen through the spine, the more it sort of activates a little bit of stretch in that hip. And while we're here, let's roll the ankle in one direction and roll the ankle in the other direction. Nice. And then let's flex the foot. You can hold on to the foot, the ankle, the leg, and we're just going to draw that knee towards the shoulder. And so you can use two clasped hands, really pressing your bottom into the chair and drawing the knee up gives you a little deeper stretch in that glute. Some people like to do this. Some people like to do this. But the idea is that we're kind of like pressing down with our hip and lifting that knee towards the opposite shoulder. Breathing here. And then float that knee down, maybe give it a little movement. Let's release that leg, make a nice hammock under our knee and just let it rock and float that foot down, march it out. Other side, let's cross that ankle over either the calf or the thigh. Let's give that hip a little juice. And then sitting up nice and tall, feeling that stretch through the hip. Roll the ankle in one direction. Roll the ankle in the other direction. Sit up a little bit taller. And then drawing that knee towards the opposite shoulder. Again, you can hug if you like, or reach underneath. Breathing, relaxing, noticing if you're holding the breath. Inhale, exhale, release, give it a little movement, and then holding underneath the knee, let that leg swing, and float that down. Let's walk it out a little bit. Come back to our seated mountain. Let's inhale, bring both arms up. Exhale to the heart. Inhale up. Exhale to the heart once more. Exhale to the heart. Lifting the heart. I'm just going to do a little back bend. And when I say back bend, it might be imperceptible, but just lifting the heart. And if you like, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. You could reach to the back of the chair. You could reach to the bottom of the chair. And I'm just going to draw my shoulder blades towards each other and lift through the heart. So just a little back bend. My gaze is towards the corner of the room. If you can't reach the back of your chair, you could come to goalpost arms. You could put your hands on your waist. Just feeling a nice opening across the chest. And then inhale, just lengthening back to a long spine. Exhale, relax. Okay, so we're going to do a few standing postures now. So very mindfully, if you would like to join me standing, just slowly come up. And the first posture that we're going to do is actually called chair. So you can keep your chair right next to you if you want. That way, if you go all the way down, your chair is right there. Or you could have the chair next to you to hold on to, whatever feels good for you. And the idea is that our feet are about hip width apart. We could hold on to the chair. We could hold on to a wall. We could keep our hands on our hips. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. And I'm going to inhale nice and tall, and exhale. I'm just going to reach my bottom back as if I'm sitting into a chair. So my knees are not going too far forward. And I'm just going to go down until I start feeling this work a little bit. And then I'm going to stand up. And I'm going to flow that. Exhale, reaching back into chair. So my knees aren't going in or out. They're tracking in the direction of my toes. And up. Let's do 3 more like that. I can keep my hands on my hips. I could bring them forward. I can bring them up by my ears. And 2. The last one is going to be the option to hold. And last one. So hands wherever you like, reaching back till you feel something in the thighs. Make sure that it's not too tweaky on your knees. And we're just going to stay here. You can come out whenever you want, but we're going to count to 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice inhale. Let's reach all the way up, palms together. Exhale the heart. Beautiful. Let's shake it out. So we are going to do a little bit of a lunge here. So keeping your chair sideways, so you're on the side of your chair. I'm going to invite you to bring one foot up on the chair if that's accessible to you. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you could keep both legs on the ground. I'll show you both ways. So my right foot is on the chair. My hand is resting on the chair. And I'm just going to bring the other arm up. So as I press into that foot on the floor, I'm feeling an opening through my hip. You can stay right here, or you could scoot your foot forward and begin to lunge. So I want to keep my knee right over my ankle. If I feel like I want to lunge more, but I'm already to the edge of my chair, that's okay. You can back up a little and bring that foot up and lunge. If you don't want to bring your foot to the chair, you can bring your foot underneath the chair, and you could do the same thing on the ground. So whatever is accessible to you. If you feel like you have your balance and you want to bring both arms up, that's cool. I'm going to stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Slowly come up. Let's step off. You can just switch sides. I'm going to move around to the other side. So I want to have now my left foot's going to come up to the chair. I want that top foot to be close to the back of the chair so that I can hold on to the chair and reach through the other side. So set up however you would like. Your foot can be under the chair with a wide stance, lunging from the ground, or you can bring your foot up onto the chair. So I'm going to start just by reaching that arm up, feeling that nice long line from my wrist all the way down to my ankle. Breathing here, or hand can be here, or hand can be here. And with each exhale, I might hinge forward a bit more, lunging forward. Nice. I have a micro bend in my back knee. Inhale, lengthening my spine. Exhale, maybe hinging a little bit forward. Making sure that my knee isn't going past. I don't want to do that. I want to keep my knee stacked over my ankle or even a little bit behind. I might take my other arm up, I might not. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, come up, exhale, relax it down, shake it out. We're running out of time and there's so many more things I want to do, but let's do one more thing on the chair or with the chair. Our balance pose, let's do our tree pose. It's great to practice balance every single day. So holding on to my chair or the wall, I'm just going to bring one ankle over the other with my toes on the floor, feeling a nice long spine. And maybe this is my tree pose today. Maybe I take my hands up from here. Maybe I hold on to the chair and try taking my foot off the ground. Long spine. So I'm just gonna move through these options to see where I feel a little bit of challenge. So I want to be sort of challenging my balance, whatever that means for me in this moment. And if you fall out of it, just find your balance and come back in. Keeping your gaze nice and steady. Inhale here, exhale, lower it down. Other side. Toes on the floor, heel over ankle. Using whatever assistance is helpful for you and coming into your tree pose, which might continue to evolve over the next few breaths. Inhale here, exhale, lower it down, shake it out. Let's come back to our chair. Just move around a little bit and we're going to move into final relaxation. And for final relaxation, since you are at home, you have lots of options. You could stay in your chair, you could sit all the way back. Maybe it would feel good to have a pillow in your lap. You could do legs up the chair, which would look something like this. You could put a blanket on you. Just going to be here for a few minutes. So letting the eyes close if you like. Beginning to settle in. And final relaxation is our opportunity to really just practice being without doing. Just be and breathe, noticing all the effects of your practice. Come home to your breath. We're just going to be here for a few moments, but if you would like to just continue, you're certainly welcome to do that. No need to come out of the pose. Feeling the weight of your body in whatever position you're in. Riding on the waves of your own breath. And as you breathe, take a moment to thank yourself for doing yoga today. And just notice any shifts or changes in your physical body from the beginning of your practice today. Maybe any areas of greater openness or ease. Take a moment to notice your emotional body, thoughts and feelings, noticing any shifts or changes here. And when you're ready, you can either continue your final relaxation for as long as you like, or if you are ready, slowly beginning to wiggle the fingers and the toes, maybe just making small movements, feeling a little more rested and alert with each breath. If you like, you can open the eyes, coming back into the room. You could bring your palms together to heart center. Peace, Shanti, Shalom, Salam, peace. May peace fill you and surround you, and may you be an instrument of peace in your own life and in the lives of all of those that you touch. And as we open our eyes into the next moment of our life, we say namaste, which means the light in me bows to and honors the light in you. Namaste.